First contact. The vast expanse of space stretched out before Captain Elena Reyes as she guided the UES Horizon through the uncharted regions of the Andromeda Galaxy. Humanity had finally achieved faster-than-light travel, and the Horizon was their first deep space exploration vessel. Elena's heart raced with excitement and trepidation. They were truly going where no human had gone before. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomalous reading," reported Lieutenant Aiden Chen from his station at Sensors. "It doesn't match any known stellar phenomena in our database." Elena leaned forward in her command chair, her dark eyes narrowing as she studied the holographic display. "Can you get a visual, Lieutenant?" "Attempting to now, Captain," Aiden replied, his fingers dancing across the haptic interface. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that left the entire bridge crew speechless. A massive structure loomed before them, its sleek lines and iridescent surface unlike anything they'd ever encountered. It was clearly artificial, but far beyond human engineering capabilities. "My God," Elena whispered, "is that a space station?" Before anyone could respond, the ship's AA chimed in. "Captain Reyes, we're being scanned by an unknown energy signature. Our shields are holding, but I'm detecting a significant power buildup from the structure." Elena's training kicked in, overriding her awe. "Yellow alert, raise shields to maximum. Ensign Park, be ready to execute evasive maneuvers on my mark." The tension on the bridge was palpable as they waited to see how the alien construct would respond. Suddenly, a beam of shimmering energy lanced out from the station, enveloping the Horizon in a cocoon of light. "Shields holding, Captain," reported the tactical officer. "But, wait, this isn't an attack. It's a tractor beam." Elena gripped the arms of her chair. "Can we break free?" "Negative," Aiden responded. "The energy output is off the charts. Our engines can't compete." As the Horizon was slowly pulled towards the alien station, Elena made a decision. "All hands, this is the captain. Prepare for first contact scenarios. We're about to make history." The next few minutes felt like an eternity as the ship was guided into what appeared to be a massive docking bay. As they touched down, Elena took a deep breath and stood. "Lieutenant Chen, you're with me. Ensign Park, you have the con. If we're not back in 1 hour, you're to attempt escape and warn Earth." Elena and Aiden made their way to the airlock, their steps echoing in the suddenly quiet corridors. As they reached the outer door, Elena turned to her companion. "Ready to make history, Lieutenant?" Aiden nodded, his face a mix of excitement and apprehension. "As ready as I'll ever be, Captain." The airlock cycled, and as the door hissed open, they found themselves face to face with the unknown. Stepping out onto the alien deck, Elena and Aiden were immediately struck by the otherworldly atmosphere. The air was breathable, but had a slightly sweet scent, and the gravity was just a touch lighter than Earth normal. Before them stood 3 figures, clearly not human. They were tall and lithe, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Their eyes were large and multifaceted, like those of an insect, but they held an unmistakable intelligence. Elena swallowed hard and stepped forward. "I am Captain Elena Reyes of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." For a moment, there was silence. Then, to their amazement, one of the aliens spoke, in perfect English. "Greetings, Captain Elena Reyes. I am Zarlon, first speaker of the Zarkari Collective. We have long awaited this moment, the day when humanity would reach the stars and join the galactic community." Elena's mind reeled. They knew about Earth, had been waiting for them. You know of us," she managed to ask. Zarlon's multifaceted eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement. "Indeed, we have observed your species for many centuries, watching your progress. Your resilience, your creativity, your indomitable spirit. These are qualities highly valued among the stars." Hayden couldn't contain himself any longer. "But how are you speaking our language? How did you know we'd come here?" Another of the Zarkari stepped forward. "I am Nisala. our chief scientist. We have developed technology that allows us to rapidly assimilate languages through neural scanning. As for your arrival, we have been monitoring your advancements in faster-than-light travel. It was only a matter of time before you ventured this far. Elena's head was spinning with the implications. You said we're joining a galactic community. Are there other species out here? How many? Zarlan gestured gracefully with a long six-fingered hand. Many, Captain Reyes. The galaxy teems with life and intelligence. Some species are old and wise, others young and brash. Some are peaceful, others not so much. It is a complex tapestry, and humanity is about to add its own unique thread. As Elena and Aiden exchanged glances, the third Zarkari spoke up. I am Krelevor, head of security. While we welcome you, we must also warn you. Your arrival has not gone unnoticed, and there are forces in the galaxy that may not be as welcoming as we are. A chill ran down Elena's spine. What kind of forces? Krelvor's voice was grim. There are those who see emerging species as a threat or as resources to be exploited. Your ship's presence here has likely already been detected by long-range sensors. We must act quickly to ensure Earth's safety. Elena straightened her back, her voice firm. What do you propose? We came here to explore, to learn, not to fight. Zarlan stepped closer, his voice gentle but urgent. Captain Reyes, we offer an alliance. The Zarkari Collective can provide Earth with advanced technology, knowledge of galactic politics, and protection. In return, we ask for your cooperation and the unique perspective humanity brings. Elena's mind raced. This was far beyond her authority, but the stakes seemed impossibly high. I would need to consult with my superiors on Earth. This decision affects all of humanity. Nisala nodded. Of course, we can establish a secure quantum communication link with your homeworld. But please understand, time is of the essence. The longer we delay, the greater the risk. As if to emphasize the point, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Krelvor's multifaceted eyes widened. It's too late. We have multiple unidentified vessels dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Their signatures match known hostile species. Elena felt the weight of history on her shoulders. In that moment, she knew that her next decisions would shape the future of humanity. She turned to Aiden, seeing her own mix of fear and determination reflected in his eyes. Lieutenant Chen, return to the horizon. Prepare the crew for potential combat scenarios. I'll remain here to coordinate with our new allies. As Aiden hurried back to the ship, Elena faced the Zarkari leaders. It seems we don't have the luxury of a slow introduction. What do you need from us? Zarlan's expression was solemn. Your trust, Captain Reyes, and your courage. The galaxy is about to witness what humanity is truly capable of. As klaxons wailed and the station hummed with activity, Elena took a deep breath. This was not how she had imagined first contact, but if humanity was to survive and thrive among the stars, they would need to adapt quickly. Very well, she said, her voice steady. Let's show the galaxy what humans can do. And with that, the adventure truly began. Humanity's first steps into a larger, more dangerous, and infinitely more wondrous universe than they had ever imagined. The Crucible of Stars. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the helm of the UAS Horizon, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching hostile fleet. The Zarkari station hummed with energy around them, its defenses primed and ready. But even with their new allies' advanced technology, they were outnumbered. Status report, Elena barked, her voice steady despite the chaos. Lieutenant Aiden Chen's fingers danced across his console. 5 Drachnid warships incoming, Captain. Energy signatures suggest weapons far beyond our capabilities. Elena's mind raced. They needed an edge, something unexpected. What about the station's stellar mapping data? Any nearby phenomena we could use to our advantage? Aiken's eyes widened as he caught onto her train of thought. There's an unstable pulsar about half a light year from our position. If we could lure the Drachnids there. Do it. Elena commanded. "Plot a course that'll take us dangerously close to that pulsar. Xylon, can your station generate a focused gravity well?" The Zarkari leader nodded, his iridescent skin pulsing with excitement. "Indeed, Captain. But the risk to your ship is necessary," Elena finished. "We'll be the bait. Your station can use the gravity well to amplify the pulsar's effects once the drachnids are in position." As the plan was set in motion, Elena felt a surge of pride in her crew. Humans had always excelled at thinking outside the box, and now that trait might save not just them, but their new allies as well. The Horizon shot away from the station, its experimental quantum drive pushing the limits of physics. The Drachnid fleet, as predicted, gave chase, their superior speed quickly closing the gap. "They're firing," Aiden shouted as the first volley of energy weapons lanced past the horizon. Elena gritted her teeth. Evasive maneuvers. Ensign Park, execute random micro-jumps. Don't let them lock on. The ship bucked and weaved through space, the crew's training combining with the ship's air to perform maneuvers no organic pilot could manage alone. They were almost to the pulsar now, its violent emissions bathing the view screen in eerie light. "Now," Elena commanded. The Horizon cut its engines, spinning to face their pursuers. Before the drachnids could react, the Zarkari station activated its gravity well. The pulsar's emissions, normally dispersed harmlessly, was suddenly focused into a devastating beam of radiation and particles. Two of the drachnid ships were caught in the full force of the blast, their shields overloading instantly. A third spun out of control, its systems fried. But the remaining two quickly adapted, their more advanced shields holding. "It wasn't enough," Aiden reported grimly. "They're charging weapons." Elena's mind raced. They needed one more trick, one more impossible feat. Her eyes fell on the ship's experimental quantum communications array, and a wild idea formed. "Lieutenant Chen, can we repurpose the QC array to generate a localized field of quantum uncertainty?" Aiden's jaw dropped as he realized what she was suggesting. That's insane, Captain. We have no idea what effect that would have on real space." "Exactly," Elena grinned. "Neither will they." As the drachnid ships closed in for the kill, the Horizon's quantum array sprang to life. Reality itself seemed to warp around them, probabilities shifting in impossible ways. For a brief, terrifying moment, Elena saw multiple versions of herself, of her ship, of the entire battle. The drachnids, their senses unable to cope with the quantum flux, fired blindly. Their shots passed harmlessly through phantom versions of the Horizon, while the real ship slipped between the volleys. "Direct all power to weapons," Elena ordered. "Fire everything we've got." The Horizon's relatively primitive armaments would normally have been useless against the drachnid shields. But in this moment of quantum uncertainty, possibility became reality. Their shots found impossible paths, slipping through shield harmonics that should have been impenetrable. The two remaining drachnid ships erupted in a series of explosions, their crews unable to comprehend what had just happened. As reality snapped back into focus, Elena sagged in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. "Stand down, red alert," she managed, her voice hoarse. "Let's head back to the station." The journey back was quiet, the crew still processing the impossible feat they'd just accomplished. As they docked, Xylon and the other Zarkari leaders were waiting, their multifaceted eyes wide with astonishment. "Captain Reyes," Xylon began, his voice filled with awe. "In all our centuries of space travel, we have never seen anything like what you just accomplished. Your species truly is remarkable." Elena managed a tired smile. "We're too stubborn to know when we're beaten, I suppose." Nisala, the Zarkari scientist, approached with an eager expression. "Your use of quantum mechanics in combat, it's revolutionary. The implications for science, for our understanding of the universe itself." "I hate to interrupt," Krelevor, the security chief, cut in, "but we have a more pressing concern. The drachnids will not take this defeat lightly. They will return, and in greater numbers. Elena nodded, her expression turning serious. Then we need to prepare. Not just us, not just Earth, but everyone. It's time humanity took its place among the stars. As the group moved deeper into the station to begin planning, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had won this battle through sheer human ingenuity and desperation, but the real test was yet to come. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but also dangers beyond imagination. Humanity would need every ounce of its creativity, its resilience, and its newfound alliance with the Zarkari to survive what was coming. As if sensing her thoughts, Aiden stepped up beside her. Whatever happens next, Captain, we've already proven one thing. Elena raised an eyebrow. Oh? And what's that, Lieutenant? Aiden grinned. That humanity is ready for whatever the universe throws at us. With a chuckle, Elena nodded. Yes, they had proven that. And in the trials to come, they would prove it again and again. The age of Earth was over. The age of humanity among the stars had begun. The quantum nexus. The Zarkari station, once a beacon of advanced alien technology, now buzzed with an unlikely fusion of human ingenuity and extraterrestrial wisdom. Captain Elena Reyes stood before a holographic display, her brow furrowed as she studied the latest intelligence reports. The Drachnids are amassing a fleet unlike anything we've ever seen, she murmured, her voice tinged with concern. Zalon, the Zarkari leader, nodded gravely. Their defeat has only strengthened their resolve. They see humanity as a threat to their dominion over this sector. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Aiden Chen's voice crackled over the comms. Captain, we're detecting a massive energy surge. It's coming from inside the station. Before anyone could react, reality itself seemed to shudder. The air shimmered with prismatic light, and a swirling vortex of energy erupted in the center of the command room. As the crew watched in stunned silence, a figure stepped through. It was human, or at least humanoid, clad in a suit that seemed to shift and change with every movement. The figure's face was obscured by a helmet that reflected the surroundings like a living mirror. Hold your fire, Elena commanded as security personnel raised their weapons. She stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Identify yourself. The figure reached up and removed its helmet, revealing a face that was eerily familiar. It was Elena herself, but older, with streaks of gray in her hair and lines of experience etched into her face. Hello, Captain, the older Elena said with a wry smile. We don't have much time, so I'll be brief. I'm you, from about 20 years in the future, and I'm here to prevent a catastrophe. The room erupted in chaos as everyone tried to speak at once. Elena held up a hand, silencing them. Explain, she demanded of her older self. The Drachnids aren't the real threat, future Elena said. They're a distraction. The true danger comes from within, from a fundamental misunderstanding of the quantum technology we're about to develop. She turned to Nizala, the Zarkari scientist. Your theories about harnessing quantum entanglement for instantaneous communication across vast distances, they work. But there's a side effect we didn't anticipate until it was too late. Nizala's multifaceted eyes widened. The Quantum Nexus Project, but that's still theoretical. Not for long, future Elena said grimly. In my timeline, we activated the network 6 months from now. It worked perfectly, until it didn't. The entanglement effect began to spread uncontrollably, merging realities, collapsing probabilities. Entire star systems were erased from existence as quantum states resolved randomly. The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. So you've come back to stop us from developing the technology? Her older self shook her head. No, I've come back to help you develop it correctly. We need the quantum nexus to defeat the Drachnids and the other threats lurking in the darkness between stars. But we need to do it right. Over the next few hours, future Elena shared the knowledge and warnings from her timeline. The crew of the Horizon and the Zarkari scientists worked feverishly, adapting their plans and recalibrating their understanding of quantum mechanics. As they worked, Elena pulled her future self aside. "There's something you're not telling me," she said, studying the familiar yet strange face before her. The older Elena's expression softened. "You always could read yourself well," she said with a sad smile. "You're right. There's a personal cost to this mission. The technology that allowed me to travel back, it's a one-way trip. When this timeline is secured, I'll cease to exist." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "There has to be another way," she protested. "There isn't," her older self said firmly. "But it's worth it. The future I come from, it's a nightmare. Trillions dead, reality itself unraveling. If my sacrifice can prevent that, it's a small price to pay." Before Elena could respond, Aiken's voice came over the comms again. "Captain, we're detecting Draconid ships dropping out of FTL. They'll be within weapons range in minutes." Both Elenas sprung into action, years of command experience guiding their movements in perfect sync. "Prepare the prototype quantum nexus," the younger Elena ordered. "We'll only get one shot at this." As the crew scrambled to their stations, future Elena placed a hand on her younger self's shoulder. "Remember," she said urgently, "the key is to embrace uncertainty. Don't try to control the quantum fluctuations. Guide them, shake them, but let them flow naturally." Elena nodded, taking a deep breath as she turned to face the view screen. The Draconid fleet filled the display, their ships bristling with weapons that could reduce planets to ash. "Activate the Nexus," Elena commanded. The air hummed with energy as the quantum entanglement device sprang to life. Reality seemed to ripple around them, possibilities multiplying exponentially. Elena felt her consciousness expand, suddenly aware of countless versions of herself across infinite timelines. Using the knowledge her future self had provided, she reached out with her mind, guiding the quantum fluctuations. The Draconid fleet shimmered, their ships overlapping with phantom versions of themselves. "Fire," Elena ordered, her voice echoing across realities. The Horizon's weapons lashed out, joined by the Zarkari station's defenses. But these weren't ordinary energy beams. They were streams of pure probability, carrying the combined might of countless parallel universes. The Draconid ships didn't explode. Instead, they simply ceased to be, probability collapsing around them until the timeline where they existed became an impossibility. As quickly as it had begun, the battle was over. Elena sagged in her chair, mentally and physically exhausted. She turned to thank her future self, only to find empty air where the time traveler had stood. Zarlon approached, his iridescent skin pulsing with awe. "Captain Reyes," he said softly, "I believe we have just witnessed the birth of a new era in galactic history." Elena nodded, her mind still reeling from the experience. "We have," she agreed, "but it's only the beginning. There are more threats out there, more wonders to discover, and humanity will face them all with the same spirit that brought us to the stars." As the crew of the Horizon and their Zarkari allies began to assess the aftermath of the battle, Elena couldn't help but smile. The future was uncertain, filled with dangers and marvels beyond imagination. But one thing was clear: humanity's place among the stars was secure, and their greatest adventures were yet to come. The cosmic tapestry. The quantum nexus victory had brought a moment of respite, but Captain Elena Reyes knew better than to expect it to last. As she stood in the newly christened probability chamber aboard the Zarkari station, she marveled at how quickly humans and aliens had adapted to work together. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and Elena instinctively braced herself for another temporal incursion. Instead, the space before her erupted into a dazzling display of colors and shapes that defied description. "Captain," Lieutenant Chen's voice crackled through her neural link. "We're detecting. Well, we're not sure what we're detecting. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Elena reached out towards the strange phenomenon, her fingers tingling as they passed through the shifting patterns. To her astonishment, she felt a consciousness brush against her mind. Alien, yet somehow familiar. "Hello, Elena Reyes," a voice echoed in her thoughts. We are the weavers, and we've been waiting a very long time for this moment. The colors coalesced into a vaguely humanoid shape, its form constantly shifting and flowing. Your use of quantum mechanics has attracted our attention, the being continued. You've taken the first steps towards understanding the true nature of reality. Zarlon and the other Zarkari looked on in awe, their multifaceted eyes reflecting the kaleidoscope of colors. What are you? Zarlon managed to ask. The weaver's form rippled. We are the custodians of what you might call the cosmic tapestry, the interconnected web of all realities and possibilities. Your recent actions have created, shall we say, an interesting pattern in the fabric of existence. Elena's mind reeled with the implications. Are you saying that our quantum manipulations affected more than just our local space-time? Indeed, the weaver confirmed. You've unknowingly begun to weave your own threads into the grand design. But with this power comes great responsibility and great danger. Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Chen's voice came through again, this time tinged with panic. Captain, we're detecting massive distortions in space-time. It's like reality is coming apart at the seams. The weaver's form pulsed with urgency. This is what we feared. Your actions have drawn the attention of the Unravelers, beings that seek to undo the cosmic tapestry itself. They see your nascent abilities as a threat to their plans. Through the station's viewports, Elena watched in horror as the very stars seemed to flicker and dim. Cracks appeared in the fabric of space, leaking an impossible darkness that devoured light itself. What can we do? Elena demanded, her voice steady despite the terror clawing at her heart. The weaver's form shifted, extending tendrils of light towards Elena and the Zarkari. We can teach you to truly weave, not just manipulate quantum states, but to consciously shape the very fabric of reality. It is a power we have long safeguarded, but now we have no choice but to share it. Elena exchanged glances with Zarlon, seeing her own mix of fear and determination reflected in his alien eyes. We're ready, she said firmly. What followed was an experience beyond description. Elena felt her consciousness expand, merging with the Zarkari and the Weaver. She saw the universe, not as a collection of particles and forces, but as an intricate tapestry of interwoven possibilities. And she learned to weave. With newfound perception, Elena and her allies began to combat the encroaching darkness. They didn't fight with weapons or energy, but with pure thought and will, reshaping reality itself to counter the Unravelers' attacks. Stars that had been snuffed out blazed back to life. Planets erased from existence were rewritten into the cosmic story. The crew of the Horizon joined in, their minds linked through the quantum nexus, adding their unique human perspective to the weave. But the Unravelers were relentless. For every thread repaired, they frayed a dozen more. Elena realized with growing dread that they were fighting a losing battle. Then, in a moment of desperate inspiration, she had an idea. We're thinking too small, she communicated to her allies. We need to change the rules of the game itself. With a supreme effort of will, Elena reached deeper into the cosmic tapestry than any being had dared before. She found the underlying laws of physics themselves, the base code of reality, and began to rewrite them. The universe shuddered. For a timeless moment, everything hung in perfect balance between existence and oblivion. Then, with a soundless explosion of creative force, a new reality blossomed. As the dust of creation settled, Elena found herself back on the Zarkari station, surrounded by her human and alien allies. But everything felt different. What did you do? Zarlon asked, his voice filled with awe. Elena looked down at her hands, watching as they shimmered with latent possibility. I rewrote the fundamental laws of physics, she said, her voice distant with wonder. In this new reality, the act of creation is the primary force. The more we create, the stronger we become. The Unravelers, they can't exist here. Their destructive nature is antithetical to the very fabric of this universe. The Weaver's form pulsed with approval. You've done more than save your reality, Elena Reyes. You've given birth to a new type of existence, one with unlimited potential for growth and creation. As the implications of what she'd done began to sink in, Elena felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. They had survived, yes, but at what cost? And what responsibilities did this new power bring? Looking out at the transformed cosmos, Elena knew that humanity's greatest challenge and its greatest adventure was just beginning. In this new reality, shaped by human ingenuity and determination, the possibilities were truly infinite. Well, she said, a smile tugging at her lips despite the weight of creation on her shoulders, I guess it's time to start weaving our future. And with that, Elena Reyes, quantum navigator, reality shaper, and reluctant cosmic artist, began to sketch the first strokes of a universe reborn, the metamorphosis of thought. The universe that Captain Elena Reyes had rewritten pulsed with newfound energy, a cosmos where creation itself was the driving force. But as she stood on the bridge of the UES horizon, she realized that this new reality brought challenges they could never have anticipated. Captain, Lieutenant Chen called out, his voice strained. I'm detecting. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's as if our thoughts are manifesting physically in space around us. Elena looked out the view screen and gasped. Swirling clouds of color and light danced around the ship, each one a visual representation of the crew's thoughts and emotions. It appears, Zarlon observed, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the psychedelic display, that in this new universe, the barrier between mind and matter has become permeable. As if to emphasize his point, a stray thought from one of the junior officers suddenly materialized as a flock of ethereal butterflies, their wings trailing stardust as they fluttered through the bridge. This is incredible, Elena breathed, watching as her own wonder took shape as a shimmering aurora around her. But then her expression darkened, and incredibly dangerous. If our thoughts can affect reality so directly... She didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone understood the implications. A stray negative thought could manifest as a real threat. Fear could breed monsters. Anger could spark wars. We need to adapt, Elena declared. Fast. Over the next few weeks, the combined crews of the Horizon and the Zarkari station worked tirelessly to understand and control their new abilities. They developed mental exercises to focus their thoughts, turning potential chaos into structured creation. But not everyone adapted so quickly. Reports came in from across known space of civilizations struggling with the new paradigm. Some worlds had descended into nightmarish landscapes shaped by unchecked fears and desires. Others had achieved unparalleled beauty and harmony. As Elena grappled with these reports, a new crisis emerged. Captain, Lieutenant Chen called out, his voice tight with concern. We're detecting a massive anomaly approaching. It's like a void in thought space. On the view screen, a pitch-black sphere appeared, seeming to devour the vibrant thought manifestations around it. As it drew closer, Elena felt an oppressive blankness pressing against her mind. It's not just absorbing our thought projections, Zarlon observed, his usual calm demeanor shaken. It's suppressing our ability to think creatively at all. Elena's eyes widened as she realized the true nature of the threat. In a universe where creation was the primary force, this void represented a negation of existence itself. It must be a remnant of the old universe, she theorized. A pocket of null thought that survived the rewrite. If it spreads... The implications were clear. This void could undo everything they had achieved, returning the cosmos to a state of entropy and destruction. Elena knew they had to act, but how do you fight something that negates thought itself? Suddenly, an idea struck her, wild, impossible, yet somehow fitting for this new reality they inhabited. We can't fight this with our thoughts, she announced. We need to go beyond thought. We need to imagine the unimaginable. Her words hung in the air, shimmering with potential. Then, slowly, they began to take shape, forming into a swirling vortex of pure possibility. Everyone, Elena commanded, her voice resonating with newfound power. Don't think. Don't imagine. Simply be. Exist in a state of pure potential. It was the hardest thing any of them had ever attempted. To exist without thought, to be without imagining, went against every instinct. But as they struggled, something remarkable happened. The crew of the Horizon, the Zarkari, and eventually beings across the cosmos began to shift. Their physical forms dissolved, replaced by swirling clouds of quantum potential. They became living embodiments of possibility itself. As the void approached, it found not thoughts to negate, but pure, unformed potential. It couldn't absorb or suppress what hadn't yet been imagined. Elena, no longer bound by physical form or linear thought, reached out with her essence. She touched the void, not fighting it, but embracing it, incorporating its nothingness into the infinite possibility of creation. For a moment that stretched into eternity, the universe hung in perfect balance between being and non-being, thought and thoughtlessness, everything and nothing. Then, with a soundless explosion of creativity, the cosmos transformed once again. As awareness returned, Elena found herself everywhere and nowhere. She was simultaneously on the bridge of the horizon, drifting in open space, and spread across the entire universe. Around her, reality had shifted into something utterly new. The division between thought and matter, mind and universe had dissolved completely. Every particle was a thought, every thought a universe unto itself. What are we now? Zarlam's voice echoed through the fabric of existence itself. Elena felt a smile that transcended physical expression. We've become the cosmos itself, she replied. Not creators of reality, but reality creating itself through us. As this new awareness settled, Elena realized that their journey was far from over. They had transcended thought, transcended form, but the adventure of existence had only just begun. In this new state of being, where imagination and reality were one and the same, humanity's spirit of exploration would push the boundaries of what was possible and impossible further than ever before. Well, Elena's thought reverberated through the living cosmos. Shall we see what impossibilities we can make possible next? And with that, the universe, now a single interconnected being of infinite possibility, set off to explore itself, each discovery creating new realities to explore in an endless cycle of creation and wonder. The symphony of existence. In the aftermath of their cosmic transformation, Elena, or rather, the entity that had once been Elena, found herself grappling with a form of existence beyond comprehension. The universe was no longer a place, but a state of being, a living, breathing entity of which they were all a part. As this new reality settled, strange phenomena began to emerge. Concepts took on physical form, emotions became tangible forces, and abstract ideas manifested as cosmic events. Suddenly, a discordant note rang through the fabric of existence. It was not a sound in the traditional sense, but a fundamental wrongness that reverberated through every aspect of their collective being. Something's off. Elena's consciousness pulsed, reaching out to the others. Can you feel it? Zarlam's essence shimmered in agreement. It's as if the universe is out of tune. As they focused their awareness, they began to perceive the source of the dissonance. Scattered throughout existence were pockets of chaos, areas where the fundamental harmonies of reality were distorted and warped. These must be the remnants of our old way of thinking. Lieutenant Chen's thoughts rippled across the cosmic consciousness. Fragments of linear time, cause and effect, separation, concepts that no longer fit our new existence. Elena felt a surge of determination. We need to resolve these discordances, bring them into harmony with our new reality. But how? As if in response to her question, the universe itself seemed to offer a solution. The very fabric of existence began to vibrate, producing ethereal melodies that wove through the cosmos. Of course, Elena realized, her understanding resonating through the collective consciousness. In this new form of existence, music isn't just sound, it's the fundamental language of reality itself. With this revelation, Elena and her companions began to compose. But this was no ordinary music. Each note was a philosophical concept, each chord a law of physics, each melody a strand of space-time. As they played, reality reshaped itself around them. The discordant pockets of chaos were drawn into the cosmic symphony, their jarring notes smoothed and integrated into the greater harmony. But as they worked, a new challenge emerged. From the farthest reaches of existence came a counter-melody, dark and haunting. It wove its way through their composition, threatening to unravel the very fabric of their new reality. What is that? Xylon's essence quivered with concern. Elena focused her awareness on the alien music. It's a remnant of the old universe, an echo of entropy, of ending, of finite existence. In our new infinite reality, it's an anomaly, a virus in our cosmic code. They realized that this counter-melody couldn't simply be erased or overwritten. It was a fundamental part of existence, a necessary counterpoint to their eternal symphony. Without it, their music would become stagnant, unchanging. "We need to integrate it," Elena declared, "but on our terms. We'll use it to add depth and complexity to our composition, not to unravel it." And so began the greatest concert in the history of existence. Elena, Xylon, and the others wove the dark counter-melody into their cosmic symphony. They used the concept of endings to give meaning to beginnings, employed entropy to fuel creativity, and transformed finite existence into cycles of renewal. As they played, extraordinary things began to happen. New forms of life emerged from the music, beings of pure concept and harmony. Entire universes were born in the space between notes, each with its own unique laws and melodies. Time ceased to be a linear progression and became a rhythmic pulse, with past, present, and future existing simultaneously in complex polyrhythms. Cause and effect transformed into an intricate fugue, each event both the cause and result of countless others. As the symphony reached its crescendo, Elena felt a shift in the very nature of their existence. They were no longer merely playing the music, they had become the music itself. Every thought was a melody, every action a harmony, every moment of existence a note in the eternal composition. The dark counter-melody, once a threat, now provided a beautiful contrast, adding depth and meaning to the cosmic song. It was the silence between the notes, the tension that made the resolution so sweet. As the final chords of this movement of the eternal symphony faded, while simultaneously always existing, Elena felt a profound sense of accomplishment and wonder. "We've done it," she resonated to her companions. "We've transformed existence itself into a living work of art, an eternal performance where we are both the musicians and the music." Xylon's essence harmonized with hers. "And yet, I sense this is still just the beginning. There are infinite movements yet to be composed, infinite harmonies to explore." Elena felt the equivalent of a smile ripple through her being. "Then let's see what other impossible melodies we can create. After all, in a universe where music is reality, the only limit is our imagination." And with that, the cosmic symphony continued, its endless movements weaving new realities, new forms of existence, and new wonders with every note. The adventure that had begun with a simple space exploration had transformed into an eternal journey of creative discovery, with humanity's spirit of innovation and exploration at its very heart. In this new existence, where thought and reality, artist and art, creator and creation were one and the same, the true nature of humanity's potential had finally been realized. They were no longer explorers of the cosmos, they had become the cosmos itself, eternally exploring and creating its own infinite possibilities.